Hey guys, All Sports 83 here with another edition of XFL Casual, and it's prediction time for week number 2 of the XFL season. I know I'm just sneaking this video in just hours before the first game of week number 2. Just want to get this one in before we get started for this week's games. Excited to see how these teams try to adjust from last week now that they have something to build from. They got a little bit of film to work on. Of course, I'll be giving my predictions on the winners and the final score of each game. I'm 2-2 after last week's picks, so we'll see if I can improve on that this week. Also, after the picks, I'll have a little bonus content for you, so if you're interested in that, just stick around if you're curious. But for now, let's get started with my predictions for week number 2. On Thursday night, which is the time of this video, and in just a couple of hours, at 9 p.m. on FX, we have the Battlehawks at the Sea Dragons. And this could be in the running for the best game of the week. St. Louis is flying high after that amazing comeback win last week, but they certainly have some things to improve, namely the offensive line. I look for their game plan to include some quick throws and a little bit less of those 5 to 7 step dropbacks by A.J. McCarron. I look for them to establish the run as well so they can take some pressure off of that O-line in the passing game, and hopefully it can help them chew up the clock on the road. As for the Sea Dragons, Ben DiNucci showed promise in a losing effort for week 1, and I think if he improves at all, Seattle will probably get the win. My prediction is he will do just that, and the Sea Dragons get the win 23-18. I do think this game will go straight down to the wire. I think it's a really fun watch. I wouldn't take your eye off of it, and it really could go either way. So I'm excited to check this one out here in the next couple of hours. Next up is the Defenders at the Vipers on Saturday at 7 p.m. on FX, and this could be yet another primetime slugfest in Vegas. While DC certainly started things right with a hard-fought win last week, the Vipers look like a better roster on paper, and with the exception of QB is the big issue. At least that's the story from week 1. Luis Perez could repeat his first half performance in Arlington last week, and the Vipers could be in business. But then again, it's hard to count out the Defenders, who don't seem lacking in really any area on either side of the ball by XFL standards. So this really is a toss-up game for me, but I'm going to go with the Vipers edging out the victory at home 19-18. It all really depends on how the QBs play. Whichever QB plays for Vegas, I'm not really sure if it's going to be Luis Perez again or maybe Huntley's going to jump in there. But I'm looking forward to this game, no doubt, and I think it could be a good one depending on that quarterback play. The third game of week number 2 is on Sunday at 4 p.m. on ESPN, and that's the Brahmas go to Orlando to face the Guardians. After last week, it may be difficult to get excited for this one, but there is a consistent trend in all sports that when a team plays poorly, they usually have a better showing the next time out. I will say that in the comment section of my last video, someone pointed out that the wide receiver group for Orlando played well, and I can't disagree. They'll have to continue to play well, as the Brahmas had a strong showing last week for almost 4 quarters before coming up just a little bit short at the end of a shocking finish in their first game. That tells me they have a solid roster and will be itching to get that losing taste out of their mouth. With a powerful running game, the Brahmas get the win 20-12. I do think this can be a fun watch, but I'm also factoring in the Guardians improving over last week, but still getting saddled with the loss. But the season is young, and we could all be falling victim to overreaction after the first week. As we've all heard before, it's why they play the game, so we'll just see. And finally, the last game of the week is on ESPN at 7 p.m. on Sunday night. And oh yeah, this is one I'm excited about. It's the first big rivalry of the season, the Renegades at the Roughnecks. As I've said before, bad blood was brewing in 2020 between these two teams, and I look for that to continue here. Right out of the gate, the Renegades are looking up at Houston with a struggling offense from week number 1. Drew Plitt will need to be more productive to stand against this well-rounded Roughnecks team, and they're pretty well-rounded on both sides of the ball as well. I will say Arlington's defense can keep it close, and this game will be in question to the end. Houston, on the other hand, wants to build on the success of last week and strike first against their in-state foe, and I think they will. The Roughnecks will get the win 18-15 and continue their undefeated record in their existence in the XFL. Now, this is another game that could compete for the best of the week, so I wouldn't sleep on it, especially if Arlington finds some offensive momentum. But there are my picks for week number 2. Let me know what you think down below. Now, as I said at the top of the video, I have a little bonus content for you. A couple of weeks ago, I promised to take a look at the ticket sales for the remaining XFL locations, and we're going to take a look at that right now. In fairness, I pulled these sales charts with the same time frame as the other locations, which is about 5 or 6 days before the event. So let's start with Lumen Field in Seattle, and I don't think it looks too bad. This is a large stadium, and even for the lower section, it's pretty large. The home side looks like it could be pretty full. As a quick note for all of these charts, I think it's only fair to be reminded that each game last week certainly didn't look as full as the sales charts may have indicated, maybe with the exception of San Antonio. So I'm not really sure what to make of that, but again, it looks like we're going to see a respectable crowd in Seattle for Thursday night's game. The other thing is this little upper section up here. There's a lot of seats open here. I'm not sure if maybe they opened that section late, maybe thinking there was going to be a lot of sales, because it looks like maybe there's just really been no purchasing up there. I'm not really sure what the story is there, but again, I think there's going to be some fans in the stadium, and I think it'll look pretty good on television. As for Cashman Field in Las Vegas, this one is kind of hard to interpret. Sales for this game came much later than the other locations just because of the controversy surrounding around where the Vipers would play. I think we'll see some people there by this chart, but it is a much smaller venue. Now, this could end up helping the Vipers as these fans are going to be kind of squished into smaller areas, and so it look a little more full on television and maybe present a little better atmosphere for the Vipers. But again, this is a much smaller stadium. It's a little a minor league baseball stadium, so we'll see what it looks like. I think maybe it's somewhere around 10,000 capacity. I'm not sure. I can't remember the exact number there. Maybe if someone knows that, they can throw that in the comments below. Maybe give me some details that I'm not aware of there. But I do think it helps the optics to have those fans in a smaller section, and I'll be interested to see how Cashman Field looks on television. But I'm hoping the attendance increases for future games depending on how it looks. Finally, the mysterious market of Orlando will finally generate some answers. Sort of. At first glance, it looks like the entire home side is completely sold out. But for me, I just think there's something suspicious about this. It's possible that they have decided to close that section, but I'm not sure why they would close the home side. So I think the mystery will last until game day for this market to really see what it's going to look like. Again, if somebody knows something I don't, please let me know in the comment section below. I just find this chart to be very bizarre. The one thing I can say is that we'll see fans at all of these games, and I don't think it'll look pretty good. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Now, conventional wisdom would say that attendance will drop off after the freshness of the league wears off, but I like to submit the possibility that it could increase or hold steady. First, there are only 5 home games for each of these markets, so that's a limited opportunity for fans. Second, the weather will continue to improve, making it more inviting for fans to attend outdoor events. And third, the perhaps maybe the most important point here is that if the quality of football stays exciting or even improves with more reps and chemistry like it did in 2020, and I think it will, the XFL will gain more traction and eyeballs, leading to more ticket sales. But hey, you guys let me know what you think. Do you think I'm just having some wishful thinking here, or am I onto something about how ticket sales may go moving forward? Again, let me know what you think about my predictions, about your thoughts on these ticket sales, anything covered in this video. I'm interested to hear what you have to say. But until then, you guys have a good one and enjoy week number 2.